This is the real strength of exceptions. With exceptions, you can write your code a lot cleaner with no checking of intermediate return values along the way between a place that can deal with a problem and a place where it might happen. When this very bad, unexpected thing happens, we say the exception is thrown. And at that point, your flow of control, instead of going from statement to statement, jumps from the place where you throw the exception to the place that can handle it. And all of the code in between is skipped. That's the rest of the function you're in. And then when you go back to where that was called, the rest of that function. And when you go back to where that was called, the rest of that function. And so on, all the way. It's all skipped. Nothing else is run. A developer cannot forget to check this because there's no returning. It's a pretty serious behavior, and you save it for situations where you can't deal with the problem right where it happens. It's still the number one rule: deal with things as close to the problem as you possibly can. If you can deal with it right where you are, you have an if. If it's one or two functions away, maybe you'll still have return values and you'll remember to check them. But the further apart they get, the more annoying that chain of return value checking becomes, and the rarer the problem becomes, the more expense you're doing constantly if that has a computational expense. Just write it the straight ahead way and have the exception bring you back. Now, if you have an exception thrown deep within the business layer, you're not going to be able to say much intelligent in the user interface layer except there was a problem, please try again. So deal with it as close to the source as you can, because that's when you have the most information. I want to start by showing you how this works with a very simple example. We're going to come back afterwards and I need to talk about something called stack unwinding. It's a very important aspect of exceptions, but we'll start simpler with basic throwing and catching.